Hello and welcome, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. Let's begin with today's class. In today's class, we are going to see some more basic features of the Constitution. But before starting with the topic, I'm going to make you revise the basic features of the Constitution which we did in the earlier videos. Right? Let's see which were the basic features of our Constitution. So, the basic feature of our Constitution are as follows. The first one was written document. So, as our Constitution is in written form, that is why it is called as a written document. Next was the size of Constitution. So our Constitution is basically divided into many sections and there are many articles and appendices in it. Then there is single citizenship. So our Constitution's basic feature is that it gives the citizen of a single country, right? There is no any citizen regarding the state and country. So there is only one citizenship, that is of Indian, right? The center with strong federal structure. Federal structure over here means that there are two types of government in our country. One is the central government and the other is the state government. Then again, in the federal structure, as we have a federal structure of government, our Constitution has divided certain departments into hands of different governments, right? So there are three lists, that is the union list, state list and concurrent list. So there are many departments which are some of them are to be handled by the state government and some of them are to be handled by the union government, and the subjects that are in the hands of both is in the concurrent list, right? So in concurrent list there are some subjects which are to be decided by both the union and the state together. Then there were residuary powers. So in residuary powers there were some powers which were in the hands of central government, right, and the state government, right? So the financial distribution of resources is done between both the departments, that is the union and the state. Now the next was the unified arrangement during crisis, which means that if there are any crisis or any national emergency, what will the country do and what will be the decision of the government. So basically in unified arrangement during crisis, in that is a basic feature in which all the powers during the crisis or national emergencies goes in the hand of central government, which means that during the crisis or any emergency, our government or our country is almost turned into unitary system, that is into a single governing system, right? Now the next was the parliamentary system. In parliamentary system we studied that there were two houses and there were people which were being chosen by the prime minister, and they were being represented, and the parliamentary system is basically an organization or a committee which makes laws on different organization on different departments of our country. So basically the people who are in the parliamentary team are experts and experienced person in almost all the fields, right? So that was all about parliamentary system. Now then was the independent and impartial judiciary. What does this mean? That basically our Constitution provides for establishment of independent and impartial judiciary, which means that our citizens are free to go to the courts anytime for their justice, right? So this was the meaning of independent and impartial judiciary, that there is law for each and every person, right? So any person or any citizen who is not satisfied with any of the thing, they can go to the courts and get the justice. Then was amendments in the constitution. Now what does amendments mean? Amendment means to edit, to make some changes, right? So amendments in constitution is possible because our constitution is flexible. Now to amend certain laws, you need to have some of the majority votes, right? So in this type of amendments, like there are certain amendments where you need a majority vote in the parliament. Now then the next topic was universal adult suffrage, which means that every citizen who is above 18 years of age has the right to vote, right? So if a person is 18 years of age, they are free to vote and they are called as the citizens of India. Now our next topic is secularism. So this secularism, you must already be familiar, or I have already explained you about the word secularism. Today I am going to give you a short brief or a revision of secularism, because we have already learned in the earlier videos when we were studying about the preamble, right? So basically secularism is the most important word which is there in our constitution and in our preamble. We have discussed earlier about secularism in the preamble. In the constitution, India has been declared as secular state. See, why is our country declared as secular state? People of different religions reside in India. So basically our people in our country, there are many people who are of different religion, right? Therefore the state cannot discriminate any citizens on the basis of religion. So basically our state does not have any religion of their own. Each and every citizen is free to choose his or her own religion, and according to their choice they can choose any religion, and they can change if they are not satisfied with their religion, right? So everyone is free to choose their religion. No citizen can be given special rights or cannot be deprived with certain rights. The state has not to be absolutely impartial and neutral in respect of religion. So our state has neutral respect, right? Our state has equal respect for every religion. Only a secular state can offer proper or equal treatment towards all citizens. Secularism means that the state does not interfere in the matters of religion. See, here is the main point about the secularism, that our state, which means where we live, they cannot tell their people that they need to follow a particular religion. So every person in the state is free to follow his or her own religion, right? Now our next topic is, in secularism we need to continue more. So the state is neutral in the purpose of religion. So only secular state can offer a proper or equal treatment towards all citizens. Secularism means that the state does not interfere in the matters of religion or is biased to any specific religion. So a state also does not have any specific religion. There are all the religions in all the states. The state has to be secular and indifferent, right? Followers of every religion are free to follow and practice their religion of choice. So any followers of any religion is free to follow any religion of his or her own choice. Now the next is judicial review. So judicial review is the chief characteristics of the constitution. So basically what does judicial review means? The first thing is that it is the basic characteristics of constitution, and judicial review administers the working of union and state within jurisdiction. Without disrespecting the power of parliament, the constitution has made an effort to harmonize the principles of judicial review. Parliamentary amendments, external order or ordinances and judicial judgment are given for judicial review. If the court finds any indiscrepancy in the external orders, ordinances or judicial judgments, it can stop by declaring them unconstitutional. So what does judicial review means? That basically it is, first of all, that it is the basic character of constitution. So judicial review administers the working of union and state with jurisdiction. So judicial review basically means that it is the administration for working of union and state. It checks upon the how does the union and state jurisdiction works without disrespecting of the powers of parliament. So it checks there are certain rules and regulations for all the state and central government as well, right? So they have to provide justice to each and every person, and if there is any of the problem, or if the parliament is not making proper rules and regulations and laws for the people, then they can be declared, then they have the power, the constitution has the power to declare them unconstitutional, which means that they are not following the constitution properly. So basically the judicial review tells that our constitution has some certain rules not only for the citizen, but also it tells how to administrate, which means how to run a government, right? So this was the 11 basic features. We are going to study some more basic features of our constitution. So for today I'm going to stop over here. We'll continue the chapter in the next class. Thank you.